Hey, everybody. My name is Bill Seagroves. I'm the head of sales and marketing here at Clip Software. I'd like to welcome you to my first AMA. I don't know if Dave's done one before, uh, but we'd like to get it started today just by introducing ourselves. Of course, I'm Bill, and then we've got Mr. Dave Tucker. He's the founder and owner of Clip Software.
Hello, this is Dave.
So if you've never been involved with an AMA, basically it's exactly what it says. Ask me anything. So feel free to ask Dave anything about Clip Software, and uh, you know, uh, no questions out of bounds. Though I will tell you that there's some stuff obviously that that's internal and needs to stay that way. So we'll try and answer everything as truthfully and honestly as possible. If you have any questions for our support staff as well, we can record those and pass them along. But if you have your microphone muted, uh, we we can unmute it at any point. Also, there's a chat function available. So what we're going to ask everyone to do is basically, if you're not asking a question, make sure that your mic is muted. If you don't have a mic available, please use the chat function uh, to to ask your question. So at this time, I'm going to give it to Dave. He can introduce himself and a little bit about the company, just kind of background stuff, and then we'll get into questions.
Okay, Bill. Hey, thanks a lot. Well, my name is Dave. Most of you guys know me. We've been around a lot. We used to have rather large conferences, and that stopped after we got Hurricane Wilma. Hit Miami right when we were taking off on a cruise ship. That would have been a really fun one, but that was interesting. So in the meantime, like I said, most of you know me. Just to give you a little bit of history of how I got involved in this stuff. I was raised in Mexico. My parents were missionaries. I was homeschooled way back in the 60s. I'm an old guy now, and taught myself to program when computers were brand new, and came to the United States, started working in a lawn maintenance company. We developed a software because we needed it for ourselves to do routing, scheduling, billing, accounts receivable, job costing, etc. Back in 1988, we sold our first copy. That was to Walt Butler down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Total Lawn Care. And since then, we have between 12 and 14,000 companies that are using or have used Clip in the past. And it's been a pleasure working in the green industry. I love it. I've written a couple of books. Most of you know about that. I'm a big proponent of piecework, and I'm a big proponent of systems, creating systems so that you don't have to, so that your company runs without you having to be involved. Most people, when they ask me, what do? I tell them as little as possible. It's kind of a tongue-in-cheek because I tend to keep myself busy all the time. Where the company is at the moment is obviously, most of you know, we've sunsetted the old version of Clip called Desktop, and now our two versions that we are maintaining right now is Clip XE and Clip ITC. XE means extended environment, and that was the first version we had that actually required the internet. We need that because of mapping and because of a few other things that it was just like, okay, get with the 20th century or 21st century now, and let's go let's go forward. Let's get some stuff, and we have Clip to go that you guys can take out. But the Clip XE can run on your server, as most of you know. Clip ITC means in the cloud. That's completely online. It's completely in the cloud. So you just log in from wherever you have internet. If you're a Mac fan, then that's great for you because it doesn't really matter what computer you're using, or your iPhone or iPad or whatever you use to get into it. You can easily upgrade from Clip XE to ITC. You can also come up, if those of you who are diehards and still love that old desktop version, and I get it. I mean, once you're used to something, it's great. But you can also upgrade to Clip XE probably within a matter of an hour or two, and that can take you into our current version for your server version, then later on you could upgrade from there to the ITC if you wanted to, because to go from the old version up to ITC might just it takes a few days back and forth. So that's kind of who I am. Most of you know it. A big announcement that I'd like to make is that we're going to be having a conference like the old kind in November this year. And I'm really excited about it. I've talked to a lot of our older customers and they're like, yeah, I'm going to be there. It's going to be great networking. We got a facility that allows us to bring in food, so we're going to be able to have a lot of meals together. That seems to be where most of the networking happens. So I'm really excited about that. I'm excited to see some of you guys that I haven't seen for a few years and get back into that. So that's kind of where we are. Bill, did I miss anything or did I give too much? That's what I usually do.
No, I don't think so. I think we're okay. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute everybody. Again, if you wouldn't mind, please leave your specific, your particular microphone muted so we can make sure to hear everyone as they ask their questions. And if you wouldn't mind, if you do come in to ask a question, introduce yourself, let us know the name of your company, where you're at, and we'll go ahead and get started. Dave, I think everyone showed up to the AMA without questions.
Well, one of the questions while we're waiting for that, Bill, I'll ask you a question, and that would be, unless we have one, I have a question.
Hey, it looks like we do. Sue from Superior Lawn. So Sue from Superior Lawn and Landscape in Minnesota, they're asking, when scheduling, is selecting next month the option to schedule a monthly service?
It can. The difference between next month is what you have to think about scheduling very specifically. Computers, unfortunately, they do exactly what they're told. And so we have this situation. If you say next month, let's say that you do it on the 1st of a month, the 1st of April. Let's say you do a service. And if you have next month set, and you have a certain day of the week, like a Wednesday or something like that, it actually skips. It says, okay, you started, this one was done in April, so I'm not going to do it in the same month. I've got to go to the next month. So it will go to May, and then it will look for your other criteria. Let's say you had week of the month, or let's say you had day of the month, or something like that. Basically, it will never allow you to do it twice in 1 month. That might sound good on the one hand. On the other hand, let's say it was scheduled for the 28th of March, and you didn't get to it till the 1st of April, and it's a third week or a fourth week or something like that in your scheduling. It's actually going to skip all of April and go to May, and then if it's the fourth week, it's going to go to the fourth week of May, and you're almost 2 months later. So we recommend, I know next month, and it's there and it can be used as long as you understand the way it is, but we recommend that you use days of the week and specify that, and then just give yourself 21 or 24 days between, and then it will automatically end up to be next month, unless a situation like this happens where you have something that happens that gets delayed and gets into the next month, and then it moves it off. So I hope that answers that question. You're better off. It seems easier to hit the next month, but I think you're better off using something like 25 days in between. And then it will effectively do the same thing. It'll have at least a month of time between, instead of worrying about the calendar itself.
All right. Thanks, Sue. Next up, we have Chris from Green Thumb in Florida. She wants to know, are there any updates planned for ClipXE in the near future?
Yeah, we have updates come out, internal updates come out almost every week. We have ClipXE is still being worked on. Like I said, it's a current version. So we are doing enhancements as we speak.
And to that point, there actually was an update published on the 22nd of February. If you head over to help.clip.com, type in update in the search bar, you'll find the second article down is how to update your ClipXE, and that'll take you to the update 707698. If you're not on that current version, feel free to head over there and get set up.
And by the way, our version numbers are going to be changing as of the next update. 7 point means you're in ClipXE. So if you have the version 7, you know you're in ClipXE. And then the next numbers are like I said, our internal ones we update almost every week. We're doing something, but our internal ones are going to be 03 for March, or I'm sorry, 18 for 2018, and then 03 for March, and then it'll have numbers after that, which will be which one in March is this. So you'll be able to tell when this update was created. You can still tell it by hitting help about clip, and it'll tell you when the creation date was on your executable. But now the version number itself will be reflective of the year and the month when this version was created.
All right, thanks, Chris, for the question. Again, everyone is unmuted, so feel free to chime in, say your name and your question.
Well, what I was going to ask you, Bill, while we're waiting for somebody to get to put their question down for us, is a question that I get quite often is, what ways are there to learn clip better? We understand that clip is a huge program. We've been programming this. It probably has close to 2 million lines of code in ClipXE. And we work on it every single day. It constantly changes. So why don't you outline for us, what are the ways that somebody could learn more about clip? We already mentioned that we got a conference coming up in November, and that's going to have extensive learning. But what other ways are there, Bill?
Well, we just finished a webinar series that covered four larger parts of both ClipXE and ClipITC. We started off with customers, then we went to routing and daily process, then we went to billing, and then we went to reporting. So we're going to have a more condensed and more in-depth sort of advanced level version of that this August as well. Otherwise, just generally, you can always visit help.clip.com. You can always reach out to our support staff at clip.com. If you click the chat icon at the bottom right-hand corner, you can always ask our support staff a question. What we recommend you do first, though, is check and see if there is anything at help.clip.com. Just type in your search query in the top, and that page does a really good job of searching out the answer for you. We also have a YouTube channel. If you go to youtube.com/clipsoftware, we've got a ton of YouTube videos up. We're going to be adding to those a lot more here in the near future, hopefully with a lot more sort of in-depth or specific task-oriented videos and help to try and help you guys learn the program a little better, because we understand there is a lot to learn, and it does nobody any good if you're confused and don't know what you're doing, because then you will contact us and then we get bogged down with support, and it's just not a good situation. We want you guys to have any resources that we can provide available to you as easily and quickly as possible.
And how about getting Bill Crawford to come out to the office? What is that like?
Yeah, we also offer site visits as well, and those are pretty easy to set up. You can email Mr. Crawford at billc@clip.com. We offer site visits, but also one-on-one remote training. So he can remote in with you or your staff and offer some specific training if there's something that you're just not getting the hang of, you just don't have a handle on, and you want to maybe, or it is something like the back of your hand, but you need to train your staff a little better on it. We're definitely available for that service as well. Now I think we have another question from Sue. She said, I'd like to have our crews see a week at a time or longer if possible. We send invoices monthly. For our crews to see their workload on Monday, do I need to record and finalize the work on Friday or over the weekend for the crews to see their work on Monday?
Well, some people, unfortunately, it needs some clarification. If you want your crews to see everything they're going to do for the whole week, then if they had work done on Friday, you do need to record that as done so that it gets rescheduled for the next Friday, and then they're able to print it. You do have, and I'm not sure if you're using Clip XE or Clip ITC, but there'd be slight differences between the two. But in Clip XE, you do have work projections, which you're able to print. You're able to print that out, and Clip does a best guess scenario to say, hey, these are the jobs that are coming up over there. Most people don't put the work out for the whole week to the crews because customers might call and change things. And that's where, if you're using ITC, give your guys access to get up to the program. And if they can get to the program, they can see exactly what's coming up, and they can see the same. There are a lot of security issues or security check boxes that you can enter in to make it more or less what they can or can't see. But and also in Clip XE, you use Clip to Go, and that gives them access to stuff. And basically, if you change something and you upload it, then it'll be changed on their phones or tablets or whatever they're using to access it. So a couple different things, but yes, Clip does not come up. The root of your question, I think, is that Clip does not come up with the next scheduled visit until you record the work, because until we record the work, we don't know all that stuff that we were talking about next month and how many days in between and stuff like that. We don't know what that is. We could easily create a calendar that says, oh, you want to do this every day, every Monday, for the season, and boom, it's every Monday. But of course, we all know the exceptions are what kills everything. And the exceptions are it rained, or like I'm in Maryland right now. It snowed yesterday. It's like, really? The first day of spring and it's snowing? But it did. And that threw us all off for all of the cleanups that we had scheduled for the next few days, because with snow on the ground, that's going to be hard. So we have to handle those exceptions. That's why Clip doesn't come up with the next one until it knows when this one was done. I hope that helps.
Thank you, sir. So there's a phone number in here, 941-755. I see that you're trying to talk. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we can hear you. If you have the chat pulled up on, you can actually download the app. I'm not sure if you saw that, but there is an app for smartphones. You can pull up the chat there if you'd like to ask your question. I can see that the icon shows that you're trying to speak, but unfortunately we can't hear you. All right. Does anybody else have a question?
Hey, Bill, why don't we address, are we waiting? We're waiting for a question?
Yes, go ahead.
You're saying go ahead to me?
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Okay. Why don't we address, we get this question a lot, particularly with our older customers. You and I were talking about it a couple of days ago. People say, why can't I just talk to somebody right away? Why can't I just call and have the support guy answer? And I know that's on everybody's mind more or less. It certainly would be great. It would be great if we could do that. But could you explain some of the physical things that are going on in our support staff and why we are a little more ordered about it than just picking up the phone and answering it?
Sure. So these days we're actually routing all of our communication through our central hub, and it's essentially a chat app, but it's a lot more than that. It's where everything comes. So even if you leave a voicemail, if you chat, if you email, it all goes into our service that we use called Intercom. And when you leave a voicemail, one of the support staff will listen to it and transcribe it, and then you'll fall into order. So the idea is to make sure that we don't miss anybody, and that we coalesce all of the conversations together, that everybody gets met when they came in, and that no particular vehicle of communication gets priority over another. So when you call, you're going to drop in a line just the same as somebody who came into chat. Now, if a phone call is your thing, if you absolutely need us to call you back, we have no problem doing it. But we need you to understand that phone calls do take longer, and we are a smaller staff. We are growing, but we are smaller staff. So phone calls do take a little bit longer, but we love talking to people on the phone. So if you need a phone call back, just hop into chat, say, hey, call me back. And if you wouldn't mind, just leave a brief description of your issue. And that way we can kind of, if we need to do some research before we give you a call back, that way we're a little more up to speed. We can do that. And I'd say that's the best way to do it. But chat or email is the preferred method of communication. If you need a phone call back, we're more than happy to do that as well. Just let us know what you need.
It's actually slightly faster if we chat. Let me add to that, because this is I know it's a point of frustration, and I wish we could eliminate it. From our perspective, if you guys could sit in our office for a while, you would see what happens. There are times when everybody's working on tech support. I think we have 7 people that are all answering phone calls, and we could get, or chats, communications, let's call them. And we could get as many as, what do we get, like 120 in a day, right? On a busy day. And so you divide that by 7, and you've got quite a number of them. The thing that we like about the chat is when you chat with us, and you can get to the chat by clip.com, lower right-hand corner, just open up a chat. When you chat with us, we can get back to you and we say, if you do need a phone call, we can say, okay, well, we might be, let's make an appointment for 3 o'clock, or what exactly is the issue. And part of that is because not all tech support guys are, or women, if we have them. Right now they're all guys, but not all tech support people are versed the same in the same types of things. For example, if you talk to me about ITC, you wouldn't really get the best support. But if you talk to me about XE, I'm pretty good at that. I know that one pretty well inside and out. So even myself, being the owner, president, whatever of the company, I'm not going to know ITC as well as, for example, you, Bill. And so I wouldn't want to get on the phone and fumble around with you. And even though you had somebody on the phone, it wouldn't actually do you much good to do that. So by opening the chat, you begin the contact and you begin the conversation. And then we can take it from there. And eventually we can make sure that you're available, we're available, and we'll call you, and we know what number to call, and you're not going to step away. I mean, that's really frustrating. I know I've heard that before. You step away from your desk, and don't you know it, that's the minute we call and we leave voicemail. Now we're frustrated, you're frustrated, and nobody's getting the answer. So that's the fastest way to contact us, through that chat. Even though you want it to end in a phone call, that's fine, and we can do that.
We have another question from P. Williams, just to follow that up. He asks, what systems do you have in place to follow up on your help tickets?
Well, we have the what we call intercom, and if we showed you on our side, it comes in, it's unassigned, and then we can assign it to a support tech, like I said, once we know who it is. But it doesn't go away until somebody either closes it, or the other thing that we can do is we can snooze it. Sometimes somebody will say, okay, call me tomorrow, or contact me, tomorrow or next week or something like that. And then we'll snooze it and put it in. But none of our tickets go away unless we actually close them. And they still don't go away. We can get back to them. And if you are using chat and you're using the same email address, when you send us a new question, then that reopens that old ticket and puts you right in there, so we can actually look back and see the whole conversation of what we have been dealing with and what we've been talking about. So that's a system that we use. It's pretty good. I know that some people say, I didn't get a call back, or nobody called me, or something like that. And when I inquire about that, most of the time I find out that, oh, well, we did, but we either left a voicemail, or maybe we didn't solve the problem with that one callback, but we're still working on it. And of course, you can always chat back to us and say, hey, what's happening with this? What's the update? What's going on? We are human. We have made 1 or 2 mistakes in our life. But we really are trying to do our best to serve you guys. You guys are our bread and butter. That's who we work for.
Well, and just to add to that, when you come in, via chat, or if you leave a voicemail. Um, Typically through chat or email, we can add, sorry about that, folks. We can add um, you to your company. So essentially, when you come in, your company is established, and that way we can make notes. We can see the activity that happens within your company. So if you come in with a different email, sometimes it doesn't tie together like that. So the best thing to do, and this is, you know, just a recommendation for all of our customers. If you have several people working in your office, we find it best if someone designates a point person, someone who is our point of contact. Oftentimes we get a little bogged down because we see three people from the same company asking very similar questions, and we have 3 or 4 different reps talking to those different people. And so if they're all spending time on one company, sometimes we get a little bogged down with that without realizing it. You know, if one rep is working out of their assigned tasks, and another's working out of theirs, they don't know that they're working with the same people. So it's always best to just assign one point person and have them contact us, so that way the conversation can flow a little better.
An interesting point from our standpoint on support too is we can watch the weather for the United States, and if there's a certain area, like if the Northeast is experiencing rain, then the support tickets will go up from that area, and it makes sense, because if you guys are in the office, you're figuring, okay, I need to get this, you know, solved, fixed. I need to learn something. I need to do whatever. So whenever you're not busy, our support line gets busy. And so if you think about that, you'll probably find us much less busy on a sunny day if you can do that. Now I understand on a sunny day you want to be outside doing something and making money, and I get that. And so we ebb and flow just like you do. You all know that you get a ton of calls from your customers right after you've had 3 days of rain and it's a sunny day, and they're saying, why aren't you out here mowing my grass? And you're like, okay, give me a chance. I'm going to catch up. I got to do all these. So it's business. It's the way it is. And we definitely want to do our best. And it's not as good as I want it to be. I want it to be better. I would love to have be able to answer a phone or chat or whatever immediately as soon as you put it in. And we're heading towards that. We've never been able to get that, but that is our goal, our eventual goal.
All right, I'll remind everyone that you are unmuted. Feel free to chime in, say your name and your company name, and then ask your question, or you can use the Zoom group chat. Dave, I do believe that Dave too has asked a question. He wants to know what books you've written and why.
Like he doesn't know. I've written 2 books and I'm working on a 3rd one right now. The first book that I wrote was called The Beautiful Business. And it's how to start, run, and succeed in lawn maintenance. And basically it's over the last, I guess I've been doing this for 30 years now. Over the last 30 years, I have had the privilege of being able to see how a lot of different companies run, and been able to pick out what I consider to be the best practices. And so I put that together in a book, and I named it The Beautiful Business because I was having a conversation with some friends of mine from my church, and they asked me what I did. And I said, I rewrite clip. And of course, immediately they thought, oh, this is a design program to help you design landscape. And I said, no. It's not at all. The only colors we use in clip are black and red, which means, are you making money or not? And we actually, I said, I'm not a landscaper. I'm not a designer. I'm not an artist. But what I really like is I like to create systems of business. And so I said, instead of creating beautiful landscaping, I create a beautiful business, which to me, a beautiful business is one that runs without me. One that I could go out and get hit by the proverbial bus and everything would keep on going. And it's a business that requires very little input and management on my part, and it produces a profit. And so at this point, we have, what do I have? About four, depending on how you count them, either 4 or 5 different businesses. Sensible Software is one of them. We have 2 lawn maintenance businesses, one in Maryland, one in Tennessee. And then I also have some real estate. And those businesses I try to make so that I am not required to be in them. I try to set them up with the right managers and the right people. The second book that I wrote was called The Beautiful Business and Piecework, and that's all about how to pay your guys for the job they do. And what that does is, most of you understand that there's this big tension between management and labor, because you're trying to get your guys to work as fast as possible and get the most work done possible, but at the same time you're rewarding them for taking longer. You're rewarding them by paying them overtime. And it just, the two of them are incongruous, and your guys know that, and you know that, and that's why you have this problem of trying to get guys out early in the morning and trying to get them to make good decisions. I have various, I gave various presentations on this very fact, and it's always caused a lot of interest from people, and people that have changed their pay system over to the piecework system. I've never heard of anybody that went back to paying hourly, but I've heard a lot of people that have given me a lot of feedback. And what it does for me in my companies, that's what we do in our lawn maintenance companies. And what it does for us is that the guys want to get out there. They want to get out there fast. They want to do the work fast. And sometimes they'll get back by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and they'll have 10 hours worth of pay. And they're happy. They go home, and it puts them on our side so that they're making money when we're making money. And anyway, that book is all about that. And then the third book that I'm working on right now is called, is going to be The Art of Delegation. And it's just, I see a lot of micromanagers out there. I see a lot of people that are having a hard time giving up their company. I'm seeing now that I'm 57 years old now. Now that I'm not at the age that I am, I'm seeing a lot of our Clip customers are trying to get to the point where the founder is ready to hand it off to the next generation or to a manager, or sell it, or some exit strategy. And they're just having a hard time doing that because they've been so involved in their business for so long that they can't pull themselves away from it. And that is what this book is going to try to address. And I like it so far. It's coming out well, and I hope it's going to just give you some ideas of, what am I going to do? We're not going to live forever. So what are we going to do, and how are we going to hand our companies over to this younger generation and get through it? A piece of software that we don't talk about much, Bill, but has everything to do with this, is called Know It All. And I could not live without Know It All. I certainly could not run businesses without it. And our Bill, I mean, you came in and we showed you how to use Know It All to help with your tasks. Why don't you give us a testimonial from your side as to how it worked for you coming in as a new employee?
Well, it's the office joke, right? It's when someone asks a question, because like I said, we're going a little bit in support. I came in actually just around a year ago, and I was the second hire here in the Tennessee office, and came in as ITC support, transitioned to XE support a little bit. But as we continued to hire people here, that became the joke. When a new guy would ask a question, the response would always be, "Did you look in Kia?" Know It All. So it's kind of where everything lives. All of our company data, anything that we've been given access to that we should be able to find, all kind of lives there. So it's just this giant database. And I'm a huge fan of resources. I always, used to tell folks that work for me, if you know what your resources are, then you can do anything. So if you can find your answer, you should be able to do whatever you want to with it. And that's what Kia does for us. Is it gives us our resource. It's our one-stop shop, and lets us find all the information we could possibly want to know about our business. The caveat is you have to enter it first in there. But honestly, as you're building your business, or even as you're, like Dave's talking about, transitioning your business, if you don't leave those sorts of bits of information, and offer that sort of resource to folks taking over, um, things can get a little difficult, and a lot of communication can get missed.
Yeah. So I invented Know It All many years ago. I don't know how many. I think it was at the beginning of the turn of the century, so maybe 18 years ago, first version of it. And the whole idea was, how do I dump my brain so that I don't have to be chained to the business? I am always trying to, like I said, trying to become useless, and trying to make the business be able to run without me. And that was the result. It's like your own little internal Google or Wikipedia for your own little company. And we don't really push the product very much. Bill, you're in sales, so you got to start pushing it. But it is an amazing piece of software once you start using it. It sort of takes your whole business to the next level. The level of, how do I get out of this? How do I take a vacation? How do I do beach management? How do I do all these things that we've talked about? And Know It All is a big key of that. Big key to that.
All right, and I think Sue may have another question about Clip ITC. She says, we're getting more snow this weekend. The plow routes are scheduled using Zone. If our crews need to go out more than one time to complete the plowing because of the depth we might get, do I need to record and finalize the work after the Saturday AM plowing and reload the routes so they can use the routes a second time? Or will the auto finalize option be able to do it so I don't have to reload the route for the second time to go out?
You would be better at answering that than I would. Like I said, ITC is not my forte. Do you have an answer for that, Bill, or not?
I don't, but I believe that Dave too's been talking to her in chat. They've been back and forth. That actually, now that I'm looking at it in context, looks like it may be a follow-up question.
Yeah, I think the auto finalize is what we're trying to do, and I'll just let you guys in on what I know about the whole snow plowing stuff. The snow plowing stuff in Clip XC is pretty intense. Those of you who do snow plowing, you might want to take a look at what we call the snow plowing manual, and I think that's available at our help area. But it does a lot, and the whole idea of being able to put a job in 2 or 3 or 4 times into the workbank in order to get it done, that can be done. In ITC over this next summer, we have a lot of plans for enhancing more of the snow plowing options in Clip ITC. So you guys are going to see that. You're going to see that being enhanced in time for winter of this year, December, November, whatever. Sorry, you're getting more snow up there. That's a pain. I hate the stuff. Can't stand it.
All right, we've got another question from Chris Green Thumb. We've had Clip for over 20 years and upgraded to XE in April last year. Since that time, we've had many issues that don't seem to be resolved. How do we know that the error emails are being addressed? We've sent 55 error emails with 0 replies to them. There's also a 42% response rate to the emails sent for help. What is the plan to improve this?
Well, first off, the idea that, and people get this mistaken, when there is an error, if you're getting a lot of errors, we got to figure out, is it the program, which that would be the kind of the easiest thing to fix. Is it the environment? Is it the data? Or I hate to say this, but it's, is it the user? Are we expecting something that's not there? And it can be any one of those. And so people get the idea that when you do get an error and it says, do you want to send this to Clip, that's going to automatically trigger a response. It's not. What it does is we do go over this. It goes to an email address called error@clip.com. And we do go over that at times, but it's not sort of like, oh, emergency, send out the helicopters, let's go do this. We expect you, sometimes the whole thing gets solved because you restarted your computer, or there's so many other factors besides the program. I know the program, like I said, that'd be the easiest one to fix. And if we could fix it, we would, if that would solve all errors and never have any errors at all. But that's not going to happen because of the fact that you have these other factors. And that's why we like ITC, because ITC, actually, we can control the environment. We can control other things. With XC, we can't control that stuff. So people have, and we've done this, we know we've worked with some users, and they just insist on using their environment in a certain way, and they won't listen to us when we say change your environment, do it a little bit different, and a lot of this stuff can go away. So first off, we're trying to help. We want to help. So never think that we're not trying to, but we will make recommendations and say you need to either upgrade your computer or change it or get rid of this antivirus software. We've had a lot of problems with antivirus software in the last 2 years. I don't know if somebody in Eastern Europe created a virus that looks a lot like what Clip does, but all of a sudden this antivirus software is causing all kinds of errors inside of Clip. And we can't solve that. There's no way that we can write around it, because the antivirus software, when you think about it, it's crazy, but when you think about it, it's the only software that will actually stop functions from happening in your computer, not even report them to you. And they pat themselves on the back and say, aren't we doing a great job? And it's like, no, you're not doing a great job, because their programmers have to go there. They have to distinguish between something that is normal and that should happen in your software, which Clip is doing, and somebody that wrote a virus to hurt you. And those two things might look extremely similar to the antivirus people. And of course, they don't know who Clip is. We're pretty large, got 14,000 installations out there, but that's not the same as Microsoft Word or Excel or anything like that. So so that addresses some of the errors. And I think even Chris, in your case, I think we've made some recommendations to changing your environment, and we're just not getting good response on that. I know that some people say, well, I can't for whatever reason, but we have to have that. We want you to have a smooth operating system. Now, as far as you're saying 42% response, we respond 100% of the time. We might be leaving, like I said, leaving a voicemail. We might be sending an email. It might have gone to your spam. We do not, at the end of the day, in our queue gets cleaned up. If your chat or your voicemail came in before 4:30 Eastern time, then it will get responded to that day. But of course, the response might not be exactly what you're looking for, and it might be at 8 o'clock at night, because our guys don't leave the office until everybody's been responded to that night. So if you say you've only gotten a 42% response, I'd like to follow up on one or two of those and figure out what happened, and look at our records and see how we did respond to them, because we do respond 100%. But we don't respond if you just say, if it says an error has occurred, do you want to send this to Clip? Don't expect to get a response from that, because unless that's habitual, or unless we happen to notice that it's coming from the same company or something like that, we're going to research that, but it's not going to trigger a support call coming back. Do you have anything to add to that, Bill?
No, I don't. I don't. So there was a follow-up there in the message. We'll leave that there in chat. Now, just to reiterate again, we are going to have a conference in November, and it's going to be 3-tracked. We're going to talk business. We're going to talk Clip XC. We're going to talk Clip ITC. But the dates on that, so you can plan, are November 14th, 15th, and 16th. It'll be here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And if you were part of our class last year, It'll be at the same center. It's called the Lane Agri Park, and we've got a large facility set up there where we can do the communal meet and sort of have like Dave was saying, meals together and some time together as a large group. But then we're going to break down into some other classes, and we'll have more details sort of trickling out over the next several weeks. But we will have one or two speakers who will be there, and like I said, some very cool things planned as far as our time together. The idea is we always talk about your success as our passion. We always talk about really genuinely wanting to help your businesses thrive. And part of that, especially for me personally, and I know it's important to Mr. Tucker, is that we know you, that we get to know you, that we understand what who you are, your business, and how we can help you succeed. So as we go forward, we want to continue to create emphasis on that, and that's part of what November is about, is just to get to meet you, know you, and figure out the best ways we can help you succeed through using Clip. One more time, everyone is unmuted, and feel free to ask your question via your microphone if you have one available, or if not, the chat. We'll wait just a couple of moments. All right. Well, it doesn't look like we have any further questions, Mr. Tucker.
All right then. Well, this has been good. It's been interesting. We put ourselves out there. We want to have a mutually beneficial relationship. I understand that the support can always get better. There's no doubt about that, and we continue to strive to do that. I appreciate your patience, you all's patience with us when you do have problems, and work with us though. And I'm thinking, and because this is probably what's been affected me over the last week or so. I've been dealing with this customer situation where they're squeezed between their IT person who doesn't want to change anything, and of course us who are saying you need to change your network, you need to change this, and it creates a very tense situation between. But what you have to realize is that we want you to be able to use Clip. We are not trying to impose anything on you. We want you to be successful with the usage of it, and we want to do everything we can. So when we give you a recommendation to do something, it's because we think that truly will give you a better experience with Clip. In the meantime, we have, it's the squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of thing. But in the meantime, we have hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of users that don't contact us for years and then tell us that they've been using Clip and it's helped them. And we really appreciate that. It's been a great 30 years. We're looking to another 30 on top of this. I probably won't be around, but my son Dave is taking over the presidency of Clip Software, and he and Bill Seagroves and the other people involved are going to be taking the reins after a few years, as soon as I can become completely useless. But in the meantime, I have really enjoyed, and I continue to enjoy, helping people create these tools that help you run your business. If you haven't taken a look at Know It All, you really should. I say it from the point of view that it's really going to help your business. In the meantime, I mean, we really appreciate you all and the years that we've been together and we've been doing this. We've been trying to help you to be able to be more successful, because that certainly is our passion. So with that, I'm done, and I look forward to seeing you guys in November, if not sooner.
Yeah, thanks again, everyone. We will get this edited, and we'll get it put up on our YouTube channel, so just keep an eye out on that. It should be up next week. Thanks to everyone who asked questions, and we will see you, I'm sure, in chat and hopefully in November.